My fiance demands a 50-50 split, so I told him to downgrade his lifestyle.
I told him, get over here. I'm going to cut you in half with a sword. You want a 50-50 split? Come on.
Am I the a-hole for telling my fiance that if he expects me to contribute 50-50, we have to make some serious lifestyle changes? My 26 female fiance, 26 male, sat me down yesterday and gave me a long talk about how it feels like I don't contribute a lot to the household, particularly in the financial sense. I was a bit caught off guard by this, but was willing to hear him out since he wasn't wrong. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Downsizing, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, he makes a lot more than I do, and we've always split bills accordingly, which ends up being about 80% him. I asked what he wanted me to pay now, and he was adamant about it being 50-50. I asked if everything was okay with his job or if he needed to take fewer hours. He wouldn't answer me. I honestly wouldn't have gotten upset if there seemed like an actual reason behind it, but he just said he'd been thinking about it a lot over and over every time I asked what brought him to this conclusion, what was going on. And eventually he just said, "That's how it's going to be. Take it or leave it." Those exact words in response to literally everything I said. Full shutdown, no explanations. I told him that was fine, I'll take it, and then asked if he'd made a Zillow account yet or expected me to. He looked confused and asked, why would we need a Zillow account? I explained that there's no way I can afford half rent on our current place, so we'll probably have to move into a one-bedroom apartment. He got mad and asked why I didn't have savings. I told him that I do, but I'm not paying rent out of my savings because that's a terrible and unsustainable idea.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. I also began to go over what our new food budget would be, our new entertainment budget, and that we'd probably have to sell the cars and get one less expensive one because I can't afford half of the payments on an Audi and a Land Rover. Then I explained that date nights would probably have to be reduced too, and we could still do like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, but I preferred Thursday nights because you get 2 orders of boneless wings for 1. Basically, if he wants me to pay half, we're living with my means, not his anymore. He kind of agreed to it, but since then he's been incredibly angry.
Bruh, you tripping?
He's not saying or doing anything, but it's like he's walking around the house in this cloud of pissed off. I've sent him 6 Zillow listings, all of which he called uninhabitable for various reasons, some of which I think were valid, others I disagree with. He's now saying that I'm being unfair and manipulative, and that he tried to come to me with a serious concern about our relationship, and I'm making it impossible for him to talk to me. I'm bulldozing over him. Am I the a-hole?
brother, you bulldozed.
Relevant comments. Not the a-hole at all. And you are making perfect sense in my mind. If he wants 50-50, he needs to understand that your income is the limiting agent in this reaction. It does sound like he has something else going on, and I would mentally prepare for him to call the wedding off. I forgot they were getting married.
Oh yeah, wait, that's another layer.
Yeah, he's like, we're about to get married, and you need to chip
should be
in.
a thing that he knows. He's like, I know you can't do this, so I'm gonna say this needs to be done.
Oh, like he's trying to get out of it.
Yeah, it's like people will do that if they're like, I can't be the one to end it, so it has to be something outside of me that does it.
This sounds like he is coming up with reasons to get rid of you in his mind, but he does not want to come off as the bad guy.
Duh.
Centurion Holder says, making up jobs and numbers, you make $120K as an engineer. I make $30K in retail. I am fine living a life where we spend the same amount, but I literally cannot keep up because I'd have to pull tens of thousands of dollars out of thin air. The only option to make this work is if we live like we both make $30K. Not the a-hole. The only options to give him what he wanted was spend less or drain savings and enter credit card debt. And there is an update. But yeah, he's expecting money that you don't have. So it's just impossible.
I would just ask him why he feels that it has to be 50-50.
Well, that's what she's asking. She's asking, is anything changed? Like what has changed here? What circumstances have changed? She already got curious. And he was like, I don't know. You just have to do it. I don't know. Just pull stuff out of your savings.
Or it's like, but like, where is it coming from? Like, who told you this? Like, where did you find this? It's like.
But there is an update.
Whatever.
So last time I posted was Monday.
hate Mondays.
Monday as a whole was spent just sorting through what I felt and what to do next. There was a lot of silence and a lot of anger and a lot of Reddit advice, some of which I found very insightful, some of which was less so. Also, some people think I made this up as part of a viral marketing sponsorship between Buffalo Wild Wings, Audi, and Zillow, which honestly would solve the money problems if true, but alas, is not the case.
Dang it.
Bummer. On Tuesday, after I got home from work, I sort of just walked up to him on the elliptical and explained as calmly as I could that I had questions. And if he actually wanted to marry me, he needed to be willing to answer them. I asked if he thought I was a gold digger, yes or no. He said yes.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Cool.
Okay. Well, okay.
So if you dated someone who made more money than you, would you be a gold digger then?
Wow. I told him that I wasn't willing to be in a relationship where I have to prove myself by sacrificing any sort of stability, and that led to a bit of a screaming match and eventually a confession. So it turns out we cannot afford anything we have right now.
Wait a minute. What?
So he's living above his means. That's what I was thinking.
He
I was
filled
like,
up his financial box.
Yep, something happened. We are in serious credit card debt. The cars are both on the verge of being repossessed, and I did not know about any of this.
Then he blew out his financial box.
He's been cutting corners on actual necessities, including psychiatric medication. That, in combination with some comments from his family, led him to some pretty dark places. My fiance had a full mental breakdown and apologized for calling me a gold digger, which was nice to hear. But this whole thing had me pretty shaken up. I went to stay with a friend for a little bit. Yesterday, my fiance and I did, in fact, go out to BWW and get the 2-for-1 boneless.
Stop it.
Stop it.
We talked a lot. I'm still writing fiance for now, and I really hope we can work through all of this. We talked about how to sell the cars. We don't particularly have a choice at this point. About my income, his income, and the sort of life we want to have. If we do stay together, we'll be changing how we live a lot. We need to get out of debt. We need to get on our feet. I know some people are going to say I'm being dumb for not immediately dropping all contact and giving up on the relationship, but I can't do that. I can't look at the guy I love who went off his meds to try and make a good life for me and think he's not worth sticking around for, at least to try. Don't get married yet, though. Don't get married when he lied to you about your finances and got you guys into a bunch of debt. Just wait a bit.
Yeah.
Wait a bit on the marriage
Yeah.
line, you know?
Doesn't
Hold off on that.
doesn't come across as the most trustworthy guy.
No. It's like maybe, you want to give him a second chance. You care about him. You love him. Don't forget that he did lie to you about the financial situation that you're in.
And it's like, again, why? Like, where's it coming from? Like, who's
telling him that he has to live like this?
Informing
if
you
anyone?
that this is the correct way to be.
Yeah. But there's more.
But wait, there's more.
I don't know what the future looks like at all anymore, and the wedding is very postponed at the moment. Good. Sorry, this wasn't a more fun update. And relevant comments say, watch your credit like a hawk, home slice. Massive length, 400. While I understand that you want to make it work, there are few things of note. It is absolutely critical to know exactly how that debt got that deep. It's not at all acceptable that he's been cutting corners on psychiatric medication. He was going to point the finger at you being in the wrong until you brought up leaving. Exactly. He was literally blaming this on you. To be clear.
And he's like, she's like, well, I mean,
Just like, was it my fault?
he was trying. He stopped taking his meds for me. Isn't that romantic?
Like, no, it's not. His choices have left you both in debt. How much of an effort is he willing to make to help you both claw out? And you really need to take a hard look at this relationship, how your future will look in it. And there is an update.
Yeah. Well, technically, he
thoughts.
didn't put both of you in debt because you're not on the house, right? Because you're not married.
No, exactly. They're
So
not
that's
married
good.
yet.
That's
But
good.
it seems like OP is taking this debt on mentally.
Don't do that.
It seems like OP's like, yeah, we have to figure out how to get ourselves out of this debt.
Don't do this.
It's not, if you did not know about the debt, it's not your, I mean, like, I understand that you're in a partnership, but like,
no.
He's put himself into a lot of debt.
He bought a Range Rover and an Audi for himself?
Gross.
Yeah, it's not your debt, buddy.
Only one of those kinds of cars are worth having. I'll let you decide which one is which.
But there is an update. Good things about my fiance. Author's note, one day later, OP made this very weird post where she lists the things she likes about her fiance. I think this was a response to everyone telling her how awful her fiance is. And here's the list. Pretty as F. This is the most physically attractive man I've ever met. Literal golden curls like a Da Vinci painting. Crystal blue eyes. Just so pretty it gives me butterflies whenever he looks at me sometimes.
That's funny. Whenever he looks at me sometimes.
Number 2. Best I've ever had in bed. Very good at just about anything. Actually likes going down on me. Makes me see stars. I've never been in a relationship that I was spicy related satisfying as this one. And there's no way I'm going back after this. Number 3. His voice is very sexy.
So he's hot.
Especially when he speaks
hot.
Russian. Ooh, he also speaks French, Spanish, un poco loco, and apparently Latin. I haven't fact checked that one.
Ergo.
But Russian's my favorite.
Takate.
Number 4, got a vasectomy so I could go off birth control. He was the one to suggest it because he saw how much I hated those stupid pills and he was willing to get an actual surgery for me. Number 5?
Número 5.
I don't know, full of little surprises and adventures. Just like the massive amount of debt we're in. What an adventure that's gonna be.
Ooh-wee, what an adventure it'll be.
These are, I'm not gonna
repairing
lie.
my credit score.
This is such a funny post.
This is such a dense list. This list is so dense.
I also don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm
he's
like,
hot. He's super
it feels
hot.
Like he
he's really
read
hot.
It. It was like, no, babe, tell him I'm good and bad, please.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm just putting you in debt.
He treats me.
He lied about the very nature of our existence and then made it my fault.
He's always doing things like getting me wildflowers, making my favorite breakfast before I wake up, or even planning little day adventures for us to go on together. Life is never mundane when you're in massive amounts of crippling debt. Sorry, that's not what it says. Life is never mundane because he's always making it special. Actually does housework? What? Does not need to be asked to do housework. He actually does more of the cleaning than I do. And I cook most of the meals because he thinks that sweeping and mopping floors is meditative. I don't know how I got this lucky on this one. Plays guitar really, really well.
He knows this really cool song called Wonderwall.
He knows this
so
great
good at
song
playing
called Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. He plays the song Firefly.
Yeah. Can physically pick me up. What?
Wow.
And carry me around.
Wow.
And does this often. I am not a small woman, to be clear. This is legitimately oppressive and makes me feel so nice. Wait.
He's literate.
He reads.
He reads.
I could actually talk about books with him. You have no idea how rare this is, especially to find a guy who will read anything I say. Oh, I liked this. You do not comprehend the feeling of mentioning offhandedly that you're reading Midnight Sun and having him come to you the next day after spending all night reading so that you could talk about it together until you live it.
Okay, that's actually pretty thoughtful, but he lied. So this is all stuff that was probably happening before he got into crippling debt and lied to you about it and made it your fault.
Has shown me that there is actual romance in life and that I deserve more than a flat, boring relationship devoid of zero moments or dancing in the rain or music. He brought real passion and fun and aliveness into my life, and in a world where that's treated as an unrealistic fantasy for most women, he's shown me that I deserve something unrealistic. Relevant comments. He may be the first man to give you romance, passion, and fun, but he's not the only one who can. These things are great right now, but long-term stability depends on much more important factors. Financial problems are a leading cause of divorce because once the fun stage is over, you're simply faced with the crushing reality. If you do stay with him despite all advice, Please keep an eye on your bank accounts, credit score, and him in general. Don't marry him unless something changes in a major way, because if you take on his debts, you'll be stuck. Alti Boris says, it's a little concerning that your top 3 are physical attributes, plus number 8, and not personality traits. Looks fade, people get injured, they age and physically change. If the biggest things you like about him are how he looks, how he does in bed, and that he can pick you up, you're not setting yourself up for success. 1 car accident, 1 work injury, heck, even just 5 or 10 years and half your list could be out. I'm also really curious about the vasectomy thing. You said he did it for you, but are you sure he didn't do it for him so he wouldn't end up with a baby on the side? All the men I know who have had vasectomies had them after they were married and had at least 1 child. I don't know, this just rings alarm bells for me. And there is a third update 2 years later.
Well,
So we're about to find out if this guy can still pick up OP.
I just wonder so many things. Oh boy, I wonder what happens. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy,
oh boy, oh boy. I wonder if this is going to start as so I found out about what his life is like since we never got married.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to start as, so I'm just now starting to dig myself out of the crippling pit of debt that I jumped into with my ex-husband.
It's the former.
I'm trying to think of like a very,
Oh no, he's
I can't
hot.
do it. No.
Well, there we go.
What did
There's
he
a third
do?
update. We are out of debt and still together, I guess.
Oh God.
It feels so good to say that and have it be true, but as of 3 days ago, wow, everything is finally paid off. And we've made our way back onto solid ground.
Okie dokie.
I just want to again state, he put them into 2 years worth of debt.
Find you a OP because they are loyal.
Almost 2 years ago, I made a post here about my 28 female fiance, 28 male, wanting to split things 50-50 and my offer of compromising on lifestyle changes. As it turned out, he was off his meds and had managed to get himself into some serious debt, a little under $100K, trying to provide a life that we could not afford on a combined $155K a year. Things were rough. I almost left him a few times, but we have finally made it through to the other sides. I handle the finances. And also, this is a lesson for everyone listening to the story. Even if you are not contributing the same amount as your partner, be an active participant in the finances. That doesn't mean necessarily paying for all of them, but it does mean taking a look at them, seeing what's going on in your life. What are we paying for? If we're living together, where is all this money going to?
And she's saying we, but it was he.
It was he.
It was a he moment. They were not married. They were not conjoined with their finances. This is he dug this hole.
I handle the finances, 100% of the finances. I give him a budget for buying coffee. It wasn't fun, but in exchange, she started doing more of the housework, so it evens out. We moved from our over-the-top apartment into a shared living situation, which, while not ideal, was leagues better than my initial plan of getting a trailer. We have roommates, but they're on another floor, so it's not too bad. And we have our own bathroom, which was my only real stipulation. We've lived like we're a $70K a year couple doing actual 50-50 finances, and every extra penny he's made has gone directly to paying off the debt, which at least that's the kind of shakedown of it all. Like his money is paying for this, not hers.
Yeah.
Because your none of your money should be going to paying off his debt.
No.
We sold the cars, obviously, traded them in for a nice used Ford Maverick and a Vespa. That helped a lot. There have been no more lavish vacations or over-the-top restaurants with $500 price tags. It was rough for my fiance at first. He's always been very much a rich boy, and I think losing that as an identity was difficult for him. That being said, he's gotten so creative lately. It's been amazing to see. He'll make me things if he can't buy me things, and we've started cooking together instead of having me do almost all of it. Our room is covered in the things he's made for me, and it's really lovely.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. That is good. By the way, You know what else is nice?
Mm-hmm.
Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Do it.
But there's a little bit left to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts?
This is a good example of like, you know, when we read stories on the internet, we're not getting the whole picture.
Yeah.
And on its surface, like all of this is like an incredibly huge red flag. But it's like the nature of, you know, committed relationships.
Yes. Some people are willing to kind of
You're always going to have
struggle
problems
through
at
more
some point.
things.
Yeah.
You know, people's tolerance bars are different.
It's just a matter of what the problem's going to be.
Exactly. And if you're willing to put in the work to deal with it. And she was.
I think if there was not an unmedicated factor in this story,
yeah, it'd be different.
I would be way less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be way less soft on that. But it's like there's a lot that goes into relationships other than like the negative thing that we read about in one story.
Yeah, and she
So
really
it's good.
she
It's
really
like-
hammered that home.
And she was willing to work
Those
through
10
it.
points.
And I'm sure if it had gotten, you know, worse, probably would have left.
Yeah, but it seems
But
like
it got better.
continuously got better, yeah.
Things can get better.
But there's a little bit left. We're still in love, we're still going strong, and we can finally start actually planning our wedding again. I think it is very smart that you held off on that until now. We're gonna get our own place first, but the wedding is next on the list after that. I'm so glad that we stuck with this, and being on the other side is the greatest feeling in the world. Thank you to everyone who offered advice. I don't know how things would have ended up if I hadn't had the courage of my convictions, and I'm genuinely grateful to those who directed me to Dave Ramsey and Caleb Hammer. Y'all are awesome. Blue Being 22, hold on here, let me get this straight. So you communicated about all that hard stuff, right? And communicated some more. And then you made a plan and made long-term sacrifices to enact said plan. And then you continued to communicate and did all the hard work over a couple of years to
Hard
meet your
work.
goals.
Hard work.
What? I'm confused. Is this even Reddit? P.S. Kudos to you and your partner. I'm impressed. And OP says, we did, as a matter of fact, do all of the above. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it in the end. Polly the Pony says, this is so great to hear. Congratulations on your hard work. You should be proud of yourself, and there must be real love between you if you worked through it together. I'm so happy for you. Opie says, there's a lot of love here. He's my person, you know? I genuinely feel like the luckiest girl in the world when I'm around him, and God knows he loves me to the moon and back. Just Following 6465 says, this is a massive green flag on how you all worked through this. Just validation that you all can make it through a marriage long term. A lot of people can't. You'll go through other trials like this in your marriage, and you both handled it so well. Congrats to the future wedding. And Opie says thank you. It was not the easiest thing in the world, but hey, nothing worth doing is going to be easy all the time, right? True.
That is pretty
That's true.
accurate, you know?
Yeah, I mean, props to you guys. You communicated and you worked through it. But that's the end of that story.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into the next one.
My boyfriend finally found a new roommate, but she's attracted to him.
No! Is she hot?
Yeah, your boyfriend's too hot.
Oh, bummer.
My boyfriend currently has a roommate from heck that was fired due to his heavy drinking 3 months ago. He never got on unemployment and has not paid his half of the rent for 3 months. My boyfriend needs a replacement roommate ASAP because he can't afford to pay the full price of rent on his own any longer. By the way, this comes from user Throwaway, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, he asked me to move in with him several times, but that is not an option for me right now, and I don't make nearly enough to cover half of the rent anyway. All this aside, he began looking for a replacement roommate online last week, and also put the word out to his coworkers. Earlier this week, he told me that one of his coworkers' current roommates is looking for a new place to stay and is very interested in rooming with him. It's a woman his age that works at a company on the same tech campus as him. I was very relieved that he found a potential roommate so fast and happy that it was someone presumably trustworthy and probably much cleaner than his current roommate. However, over the past few days, my instincts have been feeling like something is slightly off.
Mm.
My instincts.
My roommate senses a tingling.
My senses are sensing. My boyfriend tends to do this thing where when an attractive woman that he's around a lot, like for work or the gym, etc., seems to be interested in him, he won't tell me about it, but will act weird about her. And he'll start telling me about how he talks about me all the time to her and showed her photos of me and brags about me to her. I'd rather he just be normal and mature about it. I can always tell when he finds a woman attractive and she likes him too because he starts doing this. He's like, anyways, yeah, look at my girlfriend. Look how pretty she is. Look at this picture of my girlfriend. And look at this picture of my girlfriend. I love her.
And
right?
This is my girlfriend.
And he's like,
who I'm dating.
This is just his warm up. He's doing this in the mirror to himself.
Yeah, he's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna tell her. And I'm gonna tell her that she's my girlfriend.
When you see Samantha,
and then they'll have to stop flirting with me.
Yes. And then it's like he walks up to the girl and he's like, I love you.
No, I did it in the wrong order.
I love her, the one on the phone. It's accidentally a picture of her.
No.
Anyway, he started doing that thing about this potential roommate almost immediately. He was supposed to meet with her today after work to discuss the potential rooming situation. And this morning, without even asking me first, asked her if he could bring me to meet with her. She said it may be uncomfortable for her to meet me so soon, but she was willing. When he asked me if I would be willing, I asked him why I would need to go. And he said, I just want to show you off, winky face, which again is a sign of what I've talked about above. I was already busy anyway, so I didn't go. After they met, I spoke on the phone and he did the thing that he does, telling me about how he showed her pictures of me from my Instagram and talked about me a lot. Blah, 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 blah.
I am the glob glow gab galab.
So I asked him why he keeps doing that. Why does he feel the need to do this? He dodged the question at first, but I wouldn't let it go. So he finally admitted the actual story of how she found out about the rooming opportunity. His coworker showed a photo of him on Facebook to the girl. She thought my boyfriend was attractive and asked if he was looking for a roommate.
She's like, that guy's hot. Is he looking for a roommate? And he wasn't like, that's weird.
Yeah.
He knew that the whole time and he was like, yeah, she could be my roommate.
I'd be like, that's so cringy.
Yeah. Very weird.
He's cute. Is he looking for a roommate? I'm trying to speed run mistakes.
Yeah.
She had just broken up with her own boyfriend recently. Oof. I got upset with my boyfriend for not telling me this right off the bat. I keep asking him how he would feel if the roles were reversed, and he just keeps saying he doesn't know and tries to avoid talking about it anymore. I looked her up on Instagram, and she has the same overall look as me, too, but there's no age gap between them, and he feels ashamed about our age gap sometimes, which he even apparently told her when they met and talked. I know that them becoming roommates doesn't even mean anything would happen, and if he cheats on me, that's his choice, and there's nothing I can do about it except walk away in that event. I'm not gonna lie, I'm breaking up with this guy immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as I find out, oh, so you knew that this girl you're gonna move in with
is attracted to you.
Immediately from the jump?
From the jump.
Wanted to jump you?
Yeah.
And you just were not gonna tell me about it. Instead, you were gonna be like, I'll just like brag about my girlfriend until she backs off.
That's
goodbye. I'm done. You've lost me.
You're dumb.
I hope you learn a lesson from this mistake you've made. I know he really needs a roommate ASAP, and I don't want to allow my own stupid insecurities to prevent him from solving his serious financial crisis. I'm trying not to be stupid and immature, but I'm not even sure if my feelings are valid or what I should do. Girl, he lied to you about a girl who wants to sleep with him living in the same place as him.
Is she living there? Just to clarify for my sake, is she living there right now?
No, because I don't think she makes enough money to live in a place he would want to live or something.
Got you. But it's still like they were trying to make this happen, right?
Well, it was more like I think it was like discussed, like, oh, could it work for us to live together? And it's like, no.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well,
I just think that like if there are people that you know like you or whatever, just like tell your partner, be like, yeah, I found out this person. Like, isn't that crazy? And also it can be kind of fun. You'd be like, they freaking like me, dude.
Yeah. And then, so I definitely can't move in with that person.
Yeah, I can't freaking move in.
Should I tell him I don't want him to have her move in and to keep looking for another roommate? Yes. Should I leave it be? No. The lease would end in March anyway. But there's always the off chance that they would choose to continue rooming after that. I don't know. I would really appreciate some advice from clearer, hopefully wiser heads. And there are comments, but before we get into them, Sophia, like, when you...
I think all the things that we said, man. I mean, like, he lied to you. He didn't tell you, like, he knew about this from the get-go. Knew that she was like a potential candidate for the roommate situation, even though she specifically said that the only reason that she wanted to move in is because she was attracted to him.
Right.
That's not good.
The fact that he
That's
knew
not a good
that,
look for him.
lied about it,
Yeah.
and then when you say, so if I did the same thing with a guy who wanted to sleep with me, and now I made him my roommate without telling you that that was the case, how would you feel about that? He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Comments. So when your boyfriend knows or thinks a woman is interested in him, he goes out of his way to make sure she knows you're in the picture and he's very happy with you. Girl, that's a green flag.
That would be a green flag if it were also accompanied by him telling OP about the things that are happening.
Right, but it really feels like it's like a, well, see, babe, babe, look, I'm sure. See, you don't have to feel threatened, and it's only girls that, by the way, he's attracted to as well. She made that clarification. If he's not into the girl,
that's a huge clarification. That is a huge clarification.
She always knows when he's into some other girl because he only ever does this.
It feels like when
he's trying to stifle his own stuff.
In older shows, you'd have male leads or something or whatever, just like male characters who are in relationship and they're like, I can't flirt with all the hot ladies. I'm off the market. I can't flirt with all the hot ladies. And it's like, whoa, why do you want to? Like, why are you really emphasizing that?
You're like, oh man, my life is so much worse now that I can't flirt with these hot
I'm chained
ladies.
down. It's like, no.
I
don't know. I'm just like, when I think there is a certain level of, you notice hot people in your life when you're in a relationship. But also I feel like, at least for me, when I was in a relationship, it was like, I didn't really think about anyone. I wasn't interested in anyone else. And I have proof of that because there was a person who I thought was incredibly attractive before the relationship. During the relationship, I was like, I don't even care about that person. And then after the relationship, I was like, oh, they're hot again. So scientific evidence.
Wow.
And you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Feels crazy being on the inside track for that.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to address the situation head on because that would be weird. So he's letting her know it's not going to happen in a way that's more subtle, but also impossible to misunderstand. As for this situation, it honestly sucks. I'm not seeing any good options here for your boyfriend. He can move in with this girl, in which case he's going to be self-conscious and paranoid in his home, not to mention what it's going to do to your insecurities as well. Or he passes on this girl and hopes to find someone better in the short amount of time he has. It's not a great set of options. You can find another roommate.
Yeah.
It is. Do you know how many people are looking for roommates?
Yeah. So many people need a place to live.
What?
So many people. Go Facebook Marketplace that. I mean, not Marketplace, but Facebook, whatever it's called.
Buy your roommate on Facebook Marketplace.
Buy your roommate. No, but that's where, whenever we needed a subletter or something in my old apartment, that's where we went. Go to Facebook. You find you put out a thing and say, hey, looking for a roommate. So many people are like, oh my God, I'm looking for a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Providing the place to live is really just the high ground.
Dude,
quite frankly.
I'm thinking about this. I literally lived in a place. I lived in a situation where two of my roommates. Huh?
My name's Dakota, and I lived in a place.
I lived in a situation that was just two of my roommates. One of them was taken, and one of them was single, and the single one had a crush on the taken one, and it was just constantly a mess.
Yeah.
Because the single one's constantly trying to steal the taken one, and we're all living together, and it's just horrifically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You just never want to do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Ugh. So, second comment here. I don't think you should look at it as saying no based on your insecurities. I think saying no to her based on what it would do to your relationship is fine. If she's attracted to him and they live together, he wouldn't be able to let his guard down in his own home. That sounds miserable. He should be able to take his shirt off and not worry about it or chat with her about their days without worrying she's going to make a move. Reply, it's hard to think about things like this in the moment when you're in a financial situation like OP's boyfriend. I know I've made hasty job and roommate decisions because I felt that I didn't have time and didn't want to risk losing my only chance, quote unquote. But from my experience, it's so worth it to wait. So many people need roommates these days, and I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to find one.
Yeah.
OP, maybe try and bring up your veto with this point. It's also totally okay to be feeling insecure. Really secure people are not delusional. People are not always easy to read, and it's hard to trust their word. Whether you're worried about her making a move or your boyfriend saying yes, it's normal to feel weird about it. And there's an update.
Well,
How did no one bring up the fact that he lied to her about it?
That's the thing. It's like everyone glossed over that. He did not tell her.
If one of my roommates was like, hey, I want to bang this dude I'm moving in with, and I had a partner, I would have to immediately go, hey, so you know what, my roommate situation, right? I found someone.
Huge problem, though.
Yeah.
Huge problem.
You don't have to move in with the first person that says, hey, you want to, like, can I move in? You could say, we're not a vibe fit.
Yeah. Hey, cutie, want a roommate?
No. And then you say,
no.
No.
No, because I have a girlfriend, actually.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Yeah.
With this is weird.
Yeah.
Update. Here we go, folks. Thank you so much for all of your advice and feedback. It helped me feel more justified in my feelings, but also I see now that he's trying to do the best that he can in an all-around crappy situation. I ended up having several talks with him over the past few days, with the first one going extremely disastrously, due largely to both of us being extremely stressed out, sleep deprived, and not having eaten food all day. But the last one resolved things as well as it could have and strengthened our relationship. I think one of the two big underlying issues in this situation was my own insecurities stemming from low self-esteem, which has been worsening over the past several months due to mounting stress in my life from unrelated events. I decided on my own that I need to start seeing a therapist again to address this. However, the other aspect I took issue with the most was his lack of proper communication and lack of understanding for my emotions. When you say lack of proper communication, do you mean lying to you about a woman who wanted to sleep with him?
A lack of any communication, really. If we think about it.
Yeah, just an outright lie.
Just no communication at all.
When I first followed the advice of many commenters here and told him I wasn't comfortable with her moving in because I was insecure, he reacted with no empathy and treated my insecurities as a roadblock to him resolving his financial situation, which I do understand why he felt like that. He's under a lot of stress and had to take out a loan to cover his ex-roommate's rent for this month as it is. So for those asking if the situation is truly desperate, it is. He kept insisting that if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't feel insecure, even though I know he definitely would. I think this was just the desperation talking. However, the next time we talked, he apologized for not showing me appropriate empathy and not treating my concerns as valid, and I apologized for letting my insecurities get the better of me. We decided that he will still consider her as an option, but since she hasn't even signed anything yet binding her to moving in, he would continue looking for other people and said he will ideally pick someone else if he can. So did he just immediately stop looking at all?
That's the thing, like he found this out months ago. Was that right? Am I right about that? He found that out. There's been some time since he found it out.
I don't think so.
You don't think it's months ago?
Since he found this potential roommate? Or since he knew it was falling through?
No, since her.
I don't think so.
I thought, it's been some time since he found out because he lied about it. So it's been at least time since.
I think it was more that he knew from the very beginning
that she was into him?
That it was, that was a part of it. And that he never made that clear.
Let me be clear.
I don't think it's been that long.
Okay, well,
because they've talked about how it's like a tight timeline, and it's like that's why he's so stressed out, and that's why he's like. So maybe it's, I would know. I would probably say maybe a week.
Okay.
At most.
Yeah.
Which again, you can find there are more roommates.
Yeah.
That don't want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
That you can find.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can find full episodes with stories just like this that you can listen to if you go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio and you search OK Storytime. And now we've got basically 60 days. We got 2 months worth of stories for you to listen to, folks.
Whole lot of stories.
Whole lot. Boy.
What you say?
Let's finish the story. Otherwise, we also followed his sister-in-law's advice and discussed all potential scenarios in the event that she does end up being the new roommate. What we will do if she makes a move on you. What we would do if she starts walking around without clothing. Will you be friends with her or keep your distance? You should 100%. You're keeping your distance. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Will you hang out or drink with her late at night like you used to with your old roommate? He also wants me to meet her before it goes any further. We haven't set a meeting up yet, but we'll see what happens. I hate feeling like a controlling partner, and I felt so weird discussing all of those scenarios, but I think it's good to pinpoint exactly what I'm afraid of and then talk about it because it helps.
Absolutely. You
Right.
communicated. The thing
Exactly.
is, you're not being a controlling partner. You are communicating your insecurities and your frustrations and your, all the things that you're worried about with your partner. And a good partner doesn't necessarily have to agree or acquiesce to any of those things, but does listen to them
Right.
and does take them into consideration and say, hey, I hear you. This is the situation I'm in. I will try and, find something that works for both of us. But right now, like, she's my only option.
Yeah.
Like that would be the conversation.
Correctamundo. And I'm really also not liking his whole tactic here of it's like, oh, a girl likes me. Well, instead of having it come from me and being like, hey,
Just being honest.
I'm actually in
Yeah.
a relationship and I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, check out this roadblock I have standing in
Yeah.
between me and you. I have a girlfriend. If she wasn't here, maybe we could date, but we can't because I have a girlfriend. Tell them yourself from your
Yeah.
chest
Honestly,
that
nicely.
you don't want to date them.
Nicest I've ever been rejected. I asked this guy out in an Abercrombie in Germany when I was traveling. Very hot man. And he was like, because he was we had been talking before. It wasn't just like,
Hey, I saw you.
Yeah. We had like been chatting. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I have a girlfriend, but it was very brave of you to do that. And I was like, okay. It's like, I just want like really cool of you.
You're very brave.
I was like, okay.
Cool
I feel,
move on your part.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So just be honest.
Yes.
Just be honest.
It really just comes down to
Tell her that she's
getting
brave.
clear about all this stuff, man. Don't deceive. Don't
be
leave
the
stuff
deceiver.
out. Ugh. Because of course, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, my insecurities got the better of me. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, he's turbocharging your insecurities
Yeah. He's
by
turbo the
doing-
snail.
by behaving in ways that make it feel like, hey, are you sneaking around on me?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's like someone again, like someone in a cat burglar outfit, like sneaking into your house, and you're being like, hey, are you gonna steal all my stuff? And they're like, oh, dude, what are you over here being insecure about?
Yeah.
What you think? Oh, come on, you know better than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just based on what I'm seeing, I'm thinking maybe I should be a little nervous.
But that's the end of that story and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
and
see
see
you
you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.